Ooh, let's start something that's not controversial, okay? So this is near deep to my heart when I was a teenager, something that I grew up understanding, learning from my own culture, something that probably not a lot of people just know about this culture. But yeah, I'm just gonna show you something that I wish everybody should know about it. How I feel like everybody else but Asians should agree with me that you like basically I think white people, black people, whatever other things other than Asians, maybe Indians, I don't know. They're eating buffets wrong, okay? Buffets just I've seen how people eat in buffets, like Sizzler, which is out of business because bankruptcy exists. Giuliano's, that's another chain in Australia. A lot of steak in there, but let's not think about that one. Basically, whatever buffet, it doesn't matter what buffet. Maybe Indian buffet, you probably always have to avoid Indian buffets. But other than Indian buffets, yeah, I feel like just people just need to learn about this, okay? People think they're correct, but they're not Asian correct, okay? We all know that Asians are superior in terms of intellect. So right now I'm going to make an Asian guide for buffet, okay? I'm sorry I had to say it like this because I messed up the intro, so I had to re-record like 3 times. This is like the third time. But besides that point, I was gonna just speak words, but the problem about it is you won't understand it, okay? I might just regurgitate topic, so and just keep talking about something wrong. I mean, not really wrong, but something right. But you heard it multiple times. So I have. I think recently I went to a buffet. I already talked to one of my friends about it just to test it out. Okay, so I need to get that idea out. So I did actually test it to one of my white friends, and he definitely correct. He's definitely now know how to correct his ways. But yeah, I basically went to a buffet. It was a trash buffet, by the way. It's somewhere in Logan, and Logan is a terrible place, anyways. Basically, that buffet was a 0 out of 10. It was the first time where I had to. I mean, apart from when I was a child, first time I broke my rules and said, "Screw it, the food sucks." It anyways, it doesn't matter if I make money out of it. But yeah, so basically, I just have multiple videos about like on the buffet, so you'll be able to see everything on the buffet. Probably too fast, but I'll just explain it because I definitely remember what's on there. But I'll basically explain it so you guys will understand with examples. Okay, I'll just slowly break it down, show you each part, and just tell you how to just eat for money. Okay, that's basically what I'm saying. Asians basically if you want to just cut the video now, we eat for money. We go for the most expensive stuff, okay? That's all you need to know. If you want to head out, you can head out now because that's all you have to know. But I'm going to give you an example. I had to bring it up. So yeah, I'll see you when I got all the videos up on the screen for you. So yeah, I'm just gonna bring myself a little bit closer. Okay, this is. I have multiple clips. I don't know how I put them together. So basically, might as well just say this because I'm doing example for you. First thing you do is to usually when you go to a buffet like this, you examine the food. Okay, you examine what's in there and see the price, which is, let's say, put a $30 price just to make it easy, okay? It might inflate or deflate depending on what country you are. Just say 30, I'll say 30 AUD, okay? So yeah, I'm gonna bring you along. I'm gonna show you maybe all of it, and then I'll show you basically how it works. So first, examine the food. You just examine, just walk around. Then this is where what I say that's basically what I'm gonna do for you right now. I'm gonna examine it one by one and talk about it just slowly so you will understand how to actually think about it, okay? It might be easy after you learn like, oh, it's just like a couple of stuff, but there is actually some planning that goes ahead. So yeah, as you can see, I got a video here. So let's see what, oh crap, just doesn't matter, okay. Let's see what it has, this buffet have right now. So first thing, it has karaage chicken. It has butter chicken, which is an Indian dish. It has sweet and sour pork. By the way, this is the Asian area, the Asian cuisine. You have fried rice. And I went too fast. Okay, that's on me. Spring rolls. This is holy crap! I cannot read that. Oh yeah, this is I can't remember. This is dumplings. I remember this is dumplings and this is some Asian cabbage. This one I legit cannot read. Okay. This it doesn't matter because this one's oh yeah, that's noodles, right? That's like fried noodles, Hokkien noodles, I think it is. So number one, avoid most every Asian food. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, just avoid every single one of them. There is some food like butter chicken. I remember they have some vindaloo, like curry vindaloo. I guess they just got rid of it, and when I came here, so I think this is meant to be curry vindaloo, but they changed to butter chicken. Just avoid all of these. Yes, they have meat in there, like karaage chicken, and also where is it? Sweet and sour pork. We get meat is pretty expensive, right? But I'm not going to talk about meat too much, but I'm going to say fried food usually you avoid. We haven't gone to the fried section, so just say that these fried food are very filling. They have a lot of oil. They fill up quite big. So usually you avoid these. Fried rice is carbs. You can avoid it as well. You can just avoid like all of it apart from the Asian vegetables, but that's just because yeah, just situations. Yeah, I can say that sometimes just situation in the world can affect the prices of food, you understand? So Asian vegetables. So like around that time is when the vegetables actually got a lot more expensive. So usually I say avoid the vegetables, but like Asian vegetables, they're pretty like low in terms of like taking up space. You can just probably actually they take quite a lot of space because it's low in calories, but they're a lot more expensive, which is the reason why you go away. Usually they fry it in like some sauce. I think it'll be fine because it's not very heavy. It might be heavy, but it's fine because Asian like right now, I think like one of these batches is maybe like $4 maybe if you try to find it maybe $2 a batch. And it's for like a small batch as well. So like around this area, see if Asian vegetables are pretty expensive, like all vegetables in general, very expensive. Then decide if you have to eat it just to make your money or not. And there's dumplings here. Number one, I tried them because I'm Asian and I want to know if the dumplings suck. And yes, the dumplings was beyond horrid. I hated the dumplings, but usually I'll say go for the dumplings depending on like what it is. I wouldn't say go for these dumplings. Maybe if it's something like more special, which is also something else I have to mention. So yeah, you can also go for them. I usually accept the rules if they fill up. I'll usually just get a small scoop or something that I never had before. So basically, if this buffet has something that you cannot get anywhere else, you can just try a little bit of it just to taste it because you know that you can't get it anywhere else apart from that buffet. So might as well just try a little bit. Okay, that's one rule you can break a little bit. So but karaage chicken, butter chicken, those ones you can get anywhere from like any Asian style groceries or Indian in terms of butter chicken. Sweet and sour pork you can get everywhere. Fried rice, just avoid fried rice in general. I'm gonna be honest. Fried rice, it's good, but you can get it everywhere else, and usually they have like better quality. Spring rolls you can skip. You can just legit just buy the mini spring rolls or whatever egg rolls, what the hell you live in. I don't care. You can buy them in supermarkets, so avoid them. This one you can probably avoid because this is just noodles. These are you can just find an Asian takeaway. Basically, if you can find an Asian takeaway, avoid it. Unless they pretty expensive. If they say prawn and ginger dumplings, which is prawn and ginger dumplings, sorry you can't see it because I was just doing very fast. Avoid it. Although they have prawns, which I will talk about later, it's not a massive amount. It's probably going to be a prawn paste. It's not a massive amount where you should go for it, and it's just the rest is just filler. Okay, we get the points. And yeah, Asian vegetables. That's probably out of all of them Asian vegetables, they probably cost the most. And yeah, this one you probably go for it just because. But maybe in the future when we're out of that vegetable crisis in Australia. I wouldn't say vegetable crisis because it's just up the price of the vegetables. Where they even KFC and stuff like that replace lettuce for cabbage, and it's like that's basically what I'm talking about. You can go for it, but if it's after that, just ignore the vegetables at law because they're probably pretty cheap. But Asian vegetables, I think they're a lot harder to get. So this one's pretty good. This one's actually really fun to talk about. Salads. I know my parents really like salad. They usually have it. Usually you avoid these ones. So let's just make it easier for us and just go one by one. Seafood salad. You're gonna see a lot of seafood salad. They put quite a lot of mayo in it. They're like, although they look, it looks like crab or lobsters, like that kind of texture. But usually these are made with, I think, fishes and prawns. But usually just avoid them. They're pretty cheap to make, and they have heaps of sauce, which you're gonna see quite a lot of things similar to in the salad section. But it has so much sauce in it, where they put quite a lot of mayo in it, which mayo takes up too much space. Okay, it's too heavy. Sometimes they have potato in it. Potato you also avoid because it's carbs and it's cheap. So just avoid it. So avoid a seafood salad as much as possible. Garden salad, since I talked about the situation, the price went up quite a bit. I'll go for it, but I would avoid any dressings because there's dressing down below like ranch. I don't think they have ranch actually. They probably have some sauce. I can't remember. But usually just avoid them. If you want something that like just to refresh your palate, maybe after like 5-6 plates, then you can go for a salad just to cleanse it. So that's another way to actually do this. And let's keep going. There's coleslaw down there. That's coleslaw, although it's very hard to see. Sorry about the actual quality, but might as well just talk about it. But basically, coleslaw has the same situation as the seafood salad back there. Too much sauce. So there's no point of actually going there. They're high in calories as well, so you can't lose weight as easily if you go for these ones. So avoid it as much as possible. Caesar salad, same thing. Potato salad, same thing. But Caesar salad, I think, has less in terms of dressing. Maybe. I can't remember Caesar salad that well, but usually I avoid it. Although they have bacon bits are pretty cheap to actually make. You can buy them, and also you can make Caesar salad at home. You can make a salad at home. There's no real point of eating salad here, basically. So these ones you can honestly avoid, and if you go to Coles or Woolworths or whatever at the right time, maybe early in the morning where everybody is going to school, like the school kids going to school, and also late at night. No, not late at night. Maybe around 4 to 5 o'clock, maybe 3 o'clock if you're lucky. Usually they have reduced prices on salad. Depending on the price, they're usually like pretty cheap, although they're actually going out of they're going to be expired soon. You can get those prices for a cheaper price, maybe $3, $2, even $1. My parents somehow able to find the salad for under $1. I'm not too sure how the hell they do it, but there's no point of actually picking these up since you can get it pretty cheap for like a small portion. So usually avoid these, but the situation we're having right now, honestly, out of all these, I'll probably want to avoid the garden salad just to get some. Although it's not really that good to eat salad, but they don't take up that much space, and you can eat more of it. And also right now they just cost a lot more, so that's the reason why I think I wouldn't avoid it right now. But soon the situation will change where I would honestly avoid it. So in the future, just remember just to avoid it, basically what I'm saying. And we're going to the seafood section. Okay, you can see my feet right there. I'm wearing absolutely the same thing, I'm going to be honest. Oh, this one, not all the buffets have this. But most of the buffets a lot of buffets have it. Let's say this. Prawns, mussels, right there. I don't know why I didn't show it better. I just zoomed into the seafood thing. I actually don't know what sauce this is. And mussels right there. This is mussels, not oysters. I can tell the difference. There used to be lemon around here, but people have taken the lemon, of course. So yeah, let's talk about seafood. Seafood is, if you see an Asian, okay? If you don't see them, first dish, you see them, have a plate full of prawns. Okay, sometimes my parents don't do that, but mostly we usually do this. Usually we get a. You see Asians have a full plate of prawns. It looks ridiculous. Okay, just having a full plate of prawns. Have prawns. Okay, it doesn't matter how much prawns you have. Okay, prawns are pretty expensive, or shrimp for you guys, but get prawns. Okay, try to eat as much prawns as possible. Eat until you're sick of it. Just keep on eating it, eating it, eating it. Same as mussels, okay? Same as mussels over there. Eat it as much as you can. Just keep on eating it. That's how you make your price, okay? This alone can make your price, just eating prawns by itself. I usually, when they have this option, of course, or depending on if you're going talking about one of the buffets in Gold Coast, they have instead of prawns, they have oysters, but that's beside the point. Have a bunch of prawns, mussels if they have it, oysters if they have it. For me, I will put for my tier list, because I enjoy food, of course. I put oysters number 1, prawns number 2, and then the final one is probably mussels. Although mussels are pretty expensive, I'm gonna be honest, but it doesn't really matter. I will just rank like that. But usually, just try to eat as much as possible. There's a cocktail sauce right there, and I don't know what sauce it is. Usually, you should avoid these ones because they have the same effect as the salad, where you should just avoid them at all costs, because just those are pretty thick and they fill you up pretty hard, because usually thicker is not that good. Right here, you see lemon. I think lemon is the better option to go for. It's refreshing. Sometimes you don't want to just eat prawns by itself. So lemon is probably the best option. It feels less than the cocktail sauce, but you'll probably feel the taste less, but it's fine. So yeah, you can go for lemon, okay? Lemon, prawns, oysters, they're good together, okay? So that's one thing. Use lemons over those sauces, okay? I think I'll usually say depending on what they have, because sometimes they have time limits and not. If they have time limits, it doesn't matter if you go for prawns or oysters or mussels, if you understand. If they have a time limit, there's one that has a time limit in what's it called again? It used to be called Jupiter. It's in the Gold Coast, where I have a casino near it. It's basically a hotel. It doesn't really matter the topic. There's one day where they have oysters and prawns together. I usually go for the oysters just because if it had a time limit, I can just eat as much as possible. They're it's basically like shots, basically. And while prawns, you have to rip them apart and just get rid of it before you can eat it. So that's why sometimes you have to prioritize quick, efficient, and also eating and what you're eating. So oysters, they're pretty expensive. They're probably they're pretty expensive. I don't know how much they cost, but usually seafood, they're expensive. Oysters, you can just shots them, which makes them probably the best option for seafood. That's in my opinion. And mussels, I'm not a big fan of mussels, I'm gonna be honest, but mussels you can probably eat as faster than prawns. But prawns, they're really good. They cost quite a lot. If they have crab legs or lobster tails, something like that, that's when the stuff changes, where although they take a lot more time, crabs, they are pretty expensive. They're probably they're expensive more than prawns, maybe oysters, and also lobsters. They're very expensive. So that's when the exception comes in time limit, where if you see crab legs, lobster tails, whatever they have, go for those ones instead, because you can eat them faster. Number one, no, you can't eat faster. Maybe lobster tail you can eat faster, but they cost more basically. Go for the one that costs the most. That's basically the seafood section. Basically, usually go for it. If you go to a buffet, fill your plate with either mussels, mixture of mussels, prawns, crab legs, lobster tails, whatever that seafood have. Maybe not fish. Fish is a different spectrum. More of those more the tiny ones, like those ones. If you talk about, or just Basically, if you go for these ones, just try to fill up a whole plate of them and just eat as much as possible. Maybe 2 plates, maybe 3 plates. Usually we go over 3 plates. Yeah. So usually go for them. Honestly, but those prawns that have pretty bad quality when I went there. So I gotta say that. Yes, I think I just mentioned everything about seafood, yeah. Let's keep going. That one is the seafood is gone. These are fried food. Okay, yeah. Avoid them. Honestly, just avoid them. Like you see the chips, battered cheesy garlic bread. No, that's battered fish. Cheesy garlic bread, salt and pepper squid, which I really enjoy. Chicken nuggets. Just avoid them. You can buy them in a market. You can buy like in your local supermarket. Basically, avoid them. They're pretty cheap to make. They just can spew it out, especially chicken nuggets. Okay. If you want to eat good chicken nuggets, don't go to a buffet, okay? Just go to McDonald's, okay? McDonald's, they make pretty good chicken nuggets with sauce. Just go for those instead. Avoid chips, especially. Like, probably a batch of them is probably like 99 cents for them, so there's no point of just getting them. So avoid all of these, okay? Fried foods, they're evil. Let's go for the roasted areas. Carbonara pasta, mac and cheese, vegetable Monterey, mixed vegetables. These two, I'm guessing those ones, if I remember, are like the Sunday roasts of those vegetables. I'll usually still avoid them because they probably put quite a lot of oil in it. And also they're roasted as well. So usually avoid them. Like vegetables like peas, they're probably is most likely frozen peas, which frozen peas. Although talked about vegetables that being expensive right now, vegetable peas they're probably frozen and they're very cheap, so avoid those one. Avoid the mac and cheese and carbonara pasta. Usually, they're traps because they are carbs. They basically fill you up faster because they're pasta. I know, and they're also cheap to make. That's the reason why to avoid them. They're cheap. They're very cheap. They're just bait. Most of them are bait. Half of 99% of the buffets are bait. Let's be honest. So we just talked about those roasted vegetables. These ones probably have a lot of oil and pumpkin roast potatoes, sweet potatoes. Usually you can just avoid them because although they taste pretty decent, they fill you up too much. Look how big chunky they are. Shut up. Sorry, that's just my phone. They fill you up. They're usually pretty solid, so avoid them. They fill up too much. And yeah, this is actually a really good topic to talk about. It's roast beef and roast pork. They got rid of the roast beef side. I don't know why they got rid of it. Usually you go for them, okay? We talk about them. We talk about roast pork, okay? Let's talk about the 3 big meats, okay? So we're talking about the cheapest to most expensive. The cheapest is chicken, then pork, then beef. That's completely the facts, okay? There's no way it changes unless they have a pork shortages. Because in Australia, I think 2020, they have pork shortages because of the Australian fire. That's when the pork went up, and that's when you're more inclined to go for pork. But usually go for them. But the problem about them is buffets. I know buffets, okay? I've been to enough buffets. I still go for them, but they're tough. They're absolutely tough. That's the problem with them. Although they're cheap, they're also tough. So it makes it harder to eat, which makes them less people go there to actually eat the roast porks and roast beef. They did it on purpose, so people... It's the most expensive meat, but they overdone it, so you won't go for it. So they can save a lot more money. But they have to put it here, because it's a staple, okay? It's a very staple. But there is a way... And what they did, which is very sneaky. I don't think a lot of Asians talk about it, but I just figured it out, okay? Let's just keep going, and I'll explain why. I don't know why I pointed it out there. There we go. Gravy. That's how they make the money. It might be weird to just say gravy. Like, what do you mean? So usually they have more like mushroom sauce and stuff like that. Let's say that this place only have gravy. Potato. I'm going to ignore everything else, okay? So what it does is gravy helps the meat to just soften up so you can eat it more palatable, if you understand. But that's where they get you. Okay? That's where they get you. They are trying to make you fill up using sauce on the most expensive meats they have so you can leave earlier. So what I do usually, I think nowadays I do it now because I recently picked that up. I just avoid gravy in general. I avoid any sauce in general. I toughen up. I said, oh, I don't want to do this, but they're expensive and I'll keep going again. I'll shove it in. I'll just keep eating. I'll eat the tough beef and meat because I know they cost a lot and I want to make them run out of the business. So I'm eating for money. Gravy, I have to avoid them. Gravy is cheap. Any sauce is cheap for the meats. So that's how you make money. You have to avoid them. It's a tough choice, but you have to, okay? But there is other workarounds, okay? If you just have something else, maybe something that's saucy, maybe I usually avoid saucy, but if you're like a normal person that just want to just make money, but also want to have just eat for being happy, usually have saucy food. It depends on what saucy food. I think I have a better example for this one because this one have something that is pretty saucy but also pretty expensive. Let's just keep going and I'll explain it later on. So yeah, there is actual ways to get around the beef being tough without wasting basically wasting your stomach. So gravy, avoid any sauce. And yeah, I'm gonna keep going and I'll explain it because I'm just explaining this specific specific buffet because I can't really help you for most of it. It's mostly by eyeball. You get used to it maybe after maybe a year or two of just constantly going to buffets, or maybe a month if you're smart enough. But just avoid that one. Avoid what I'm going to say. I'm going to talk about this later. And yeah, just keep going. Mashed potatoes, avoid them. I don't know if they're actually mashed potatoes. They might just put the potato powder, stuff like that. So usually avoid them. They're pretty cheap. They're pretty fatty as well. They take up too much space. Corn chips and these ones. That's nostalgic actually. Corn chips and the beef mince with like beans and stuff. That's nostalgic because of Sizzler, but that's when I was a kid. It doesn't matter anymore. Those ones, just avoid them as well. Like beef mince, although I said beef is pretty expensive. Beef mince, they're pretty cheap. There's no point of actually getting beef mince. You just get the beef. Get the beef. Like the beef parts basically. The parts of the beef where instead of just they mince it down with all the cheap parts, they get the most expensive ones like beef flank, beef brisket, and then soon I want to explain the other beef one that have this is if I remember, this is fish covered in sauce. I can't remember what fish it is. This one fish is a very hit or miss in terms of prices. Depending on the fish, depends on the prices. So basically, if it's like cod, you can generally avoid them. Usually cod is pretty cheap because they usually make for fish and chips. But something like salmon, barramundi, maybe something like more exotic fish that you never heard. So this is when the Google actually is pretty useful, where you Google the fish they are serving and see how much it costs in markets. Fish, although they come in sauce, this is pretty good. Like I can't remember what fish it is, but I can't even read it. I'm gonna be honest. I should have filmed better. But fish, it depends on what kind of fish, because grilled fish, they're pretty good. Raw fish, sushi, like something like sushi is pretty good. Eel as well. I mean, there's only like one place that has eel, but how to make it, let's not talk about it. Because I'm getting off topic. It depends on what fish it is, okay? So look at your prices of this fish in a local supermarket and see if it's worth it, okay? I'm not talking about fish bites, like actual fish fillet, okay? It might be frozen, it might be, if you can buy frozen, don't usually avoid it. Stuff like that. Fish is just depending on, like, a lot of factors, like, either you can buy it for cheap for frozen, fresh, if it costs very cheap to get, easy to get, world situation definitely changes the prices. So if we have fish shortages, go for it. And yeah, Or if it's actually something that you've never had before, like a fish. I don't know what a fish dish is. That is pretty expensive. So just say if you know that you cannot get it anywhere, go for it. Unless it's something that's like fish with sauce or like creamy sauce, which this is. I avoided it, of course. It just there's a lot of just it's really hard to talk about buffets. I'm gonna be honest. You need to just be eyeballing it, but I'm just trying to help you, okay? So this in a situation with creamy sauce, I don't know what fish it is. If I know what fish it is, I could help you a lot better. But I'll avoid it. If it's a very expensive type of fish, go for it. And this is the next one. This is what I have to say. Oh, snapper. Let me search up snapper for you guys. So, chili corn carne. I was looking at chili corn carne, which is the beef mince thing. So, okay, it's snapper mornay. I don't know what mornay means, but let's talk about snapper. Okay, snapper. Australian snapper. So snapper. I'll say prices. I wish I knew it. So you can, depending on what kind of snapper it is. I'm guessing no. This is basa. This is a snapper. They say snapper mornay. So snapper fresh per kilo. It is in Woolies. It's $35. So a kilo of snapper. Honestly, I'll go for it. If this is like a $30 one, like a $30 buffet, go for the snapper, or go for the fish. You have to look it up to just understand fish values. So yeah, if it's like $30 per kilo, I'll probably go for it. It's pretty expensive. If I want to see if it can be frozen, I think it can be frozen. The rest frozen prices. Yeah, they're pretty expensive as well. I don't know if it's fresh or frozen. Oh, it's $12. Hold up. So snapper, it depends. If you're able to tell if it's fresh or frozen, it depends on the prices. I would say go for it. Usually fish is pretty expensive. Like snapper is pretty expensive, but something like cod, if you can buy it for under $10, so it's just avoid it, okay? But this is cheaper place. I'm guessing this is frozen right now after thinking about it a little bit. So yeah, avoid the snapper if it's like a cheaper one. If it's a more expensive restaurant, maybe go for the fish and just look at the price for like not like the grilled fish. Of course, avoid the fried fishes, okay? Avoid them as much as possible. And let's keep going. Oh, I'm sorry if you can see down there. Okay, nope. There we go. So you see, I missed something. There we go. Red wine, herb, and beef cheeks. Okay, this is when I'm gonna talk about it. Remember when I said about substitution of gravy? Red wine, herbs, and beef cheeks. This is like a pretty saucy dish, but beef cheeks right there, pretty expensive. They're also pretty soft as well, so it's a lot more easy to eat. Although this is pretty heavy, I'll go for it because beef is pretty expensive. Okay. Like these beef chunks of meat, these ones, go for it. Although there's red wine, yeah, you get the point where I said it's pretty saucy. You can use these sauce to soften the roast beef, okay? You can soften it a bit so it's easy to eat. So you can use that. But of course, you don't just over sauce it, okay? So how you usually do it is try to get as little as sauce as possible. If you can get a little bit of sauce and put it on the beef, you can do that. Like the roast beef, you can do that. But usually go for these ones. Beef cheeks are pretty expensive. It's beef parts, of course. So you go for these ones. And okay, I think I covered that topic, and let's talk about the other ones. So lasagna, avoid lasagna. You can make lasagna. You can buy lasagna. Like you can get like a $20 lasagna, like a kilo lasagna, and yeah, on like Woolies or whatever supermarket you're in. So avoid those ones. Chicken parma, also avoid it if you don't know what is chicken parma. It's chicken parmesan, or chicken parmesan, whatever you're from. Just cheese on fried chicken. Avoid it, of course. Pizza, that's obvious. Avoid those ones. Like completely avoid pizza. Number one, they're terrible. The pizza's terrible. And number two, it's cheap to make. So avoid all the pizza. Avoid all of these ones, okay? If it's fried, if it's have a lot of carbs in it, like bread and stuff, avoid them unless the bread is expensive. Usually just avoid them. If it's like those things, avoid it. And then we keep going. Mushroom soup, that's dependable, but usually avoid soup. They're pretty easy to make for a big batch, so avoid these ones at all cost. Unless you're in like a soup buffet, then you can't really avoid it. You have to just look at what soup each one has. And I think that's all. So most of them, so basically, if you see all these stuff as an example, go for these ones, avoid the gravy, maybe go for the fish, and go for the beef cheeks. That's basically what I'm saying. I'm just going to sum it up like that. So these are breads and hot desserts. Right here, avoid them. Like, completely avoid them. None of them are palatable. They're easy to make. Jam donuts, I got baited by it because I had good jam donuts in Melbourne. But, holy crap, that jam donut violated my mouth, okay? It was the worst thing I ever had. I got baited because of Melbourne, okay? Because I had really good jam donuts, and this did not fill my craving. So, and this is the reason why I actually avoided it. I actually highlighted and just zoomed in. This sucks! This absolutely sucks! And number one, it sucks and they're cheap to make. I got baited, okay? Because it was at the time where I said, screw it, these foods absolutely suck! These foods absolutely suck! That's when I said I broke the rules and screw it, I'm not eating for money, this sucks, I hate it so much, okay? I legit only able to, the plates, I could only like deal with 2 plates at most until I said no, I can't eat it anymore. But yeah, avoid these ones. Just avoid every single one of them. Apple crumble, bread pudding, sticky date pudding, custard, whatever these things are. Avoid them. They're cheap to make. They're blah, 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 blah. You get the point, okay? Avoid them. But man, I just want to rant a little bit on that jam donut being so terrible, and I got baited by me eating really good jam donuts in Melbourne. Okay, let's talk about this one. Cold desserts. Avoid these ones. Apart from, I think I had the tiramisu out of all these ones. Usually avoid them. They're in every buffets. They're probably cheap to make. Cake, and also take up a lot of like room. But tiramisu, I didn't skip on tiramisu this time because this is when, what I said before. If you have ever had it before, you've never tried it before, just try a little bit of it. Just try if it's good or not. That is tiramisu for me. I never actually had tiramisu. I couldn't find any tiramisu, or I never searched out for tiramisu, or I just never see it in general. So that's the only time where I had tiramisu. It was pretty good, I'm gonna be honest. But usually, you avoid these ones, including tiramisu. But I never had it before, so that's when the rule kind of break. I'll go back to you bastards later. Fruit. These ones, usually fruits are pretty expensive, but in every buffets, and usually these are the cheaper parts of the fruits. I mean, not cheaper parts, but usually these are the cheaper fruits. So usually avoid these ones. Avoid jelly. They especially avoid jelly. You can just buy like the jelly packets. You can make a big bowl of $4 jelly, or maybe like $3 or $2 or even $1 jelly. Avoid the jelly or all costs. But these ones, I think I have the names out there. Number one, they didn't have creme brulee. That's a lie. I think it's this one right there. The name. I zoomed in creme brulee because they didn't have it. Those things I can't remember where you actually. What's it called? I can probably look it up. Woolworths. Chocolate. It's something was. Basically, these ones, I can't really find it right now. But usually 12 of them in Woolworths and Coles, it costs like $8 to $20, like $12. I wouldn't really avoid them. It depends on if you like them or not. It's like, it's like in the middle, okay? It's in the middle. Sorry. It's in the middle of, should you get them and avoid, okay? I mean, you should get them and avoid. Because they're pretty expensive, okay? They're probably cheap to make, but they're pretty expensive outdoors. If you want to buy in Woolworths, like getting like an 8-pack of them is like $12. So you can go for it, but it's not like a must-have. It's in the middle. Creme brulee. If you never had creme brulee, if they have creme brulee, go for it. But usually you can avoid them. Unless you're a big creme brulee fan, then at the end of just finishing everything, you go for the creme brulee. If you understand. Usually desserts, if you eat so much, you ate like 10 plates of full prawns, like that level of just I know I robbed their money and even more. Then you can go for the desserts. I'm gonna be honest. Apart just avoid the cold desserts though. And then you can see, I think I never highlighted it. They have an ice cream machine here, and might as well just talk about these ones first. If you're having ice cream, if you want to have ice cream, although they're pretty cheap, I might as well just say it. If you want ice cream, sure, you can break whatever the rule. You don't have to actually follow it, but usually I recommend not to have ice cream. But usually I do have ice cream. But usually avoid these sauces. They fill up a lot more room. So yeah, any of these sauces, they're traps as well. The same as the roast beef argument, but they're actually more unnecessary than the beef and gravy arguments. So yeah, if you want to have ice cream, if you want to break that thing, then go ahead, go for these. Don't just no, sorry. If you're going for ice creams, avoid these ones because they're absolutely filler and there's no reason of having them. And I'll talk about these bosses later on. Let's see. Drinks. So, okay, this is actually really good. Really good. Just to understand how to talk about it. Drinks, usually, depending on what there is, avoid the drinks. Okay? Usually, they said extra for drinks, avoid it. Just completely avoid it. Like, you can have water, okay? Water is fine, okay? You can drink a little bit of water, but usually fizzy drinks like that, like Coke, whatever, I don't even care what you call it, just carbonated drinks. Usually they're filled up with air and they're meant to fill up. They're also very cheap to make as well. They're very cheap. So they're cheap, they fill up too much room, and you should avoid them at all costs. And they usually cost extra. If it costs extra, do not even bother with them, okay? Water, it might be good for water just to cleanse your palate, but usually you can avoid water. The best way to avoid just even more room if you're like a true Asian is drink a lot of water before, pee it all out. When you go to a buffet, don't drink water and just eat because water does actually fill up. So yeah, that's another strat you can do. So these ones like you can completely avoid. And yeah, I think I already covered these ones. Okay, this is where the argument comes in. Okay, this is where the true Asians of me come out. Stealing. It's not technically stealing, isn't it? It's a all-you-can-eat buffet. This is the most spiciest part of the actual video. Oh, you see these packages right there? Napkins. Honestly, napkins. You can avoid napkins if you want, unless you're actually running down low on napkins and steal napkins. See these sauce packets right there? Let me just go for salt, pepper, salt packets. More sauces down there. You see these ones? Nope. Butter. Not croutons. Avoid croutons in the bread. But butter. You see these serviettes? You see these ones? Right there, tea bags and coffee bags. You see it? There's sugar, more tea bags. Okay, that's all. Steal them. Absolutely steal them. Take as much as possible without being suspicious. Have a bag, like a small bag. Just maybe when you're going around, maybe take 2 or 3 of them, put them in your bag or your pocket, stash them. That's how you make more money. This is just a little bit extra to make your money. Stealing. It's not technically stealing if it's an all-you-can-eat buffet, isn't it? So, milk packages in there, these packages, you can steal them, right? You won't get, like, nobody will notice, huh? Nobody will notice. If you steal these ones, they're pretty useful. You can use them anytime you want. You can save a little bit of money outside of just the buffet. There you go. If you're having a shortage of budget butter, you went to a buffet. Ooh, the butter prices. Oh yeah, I need butter. Oh no, I'm running like low on home. I don't want to buy butter right now. take them. Absolutely. Take everything you can. You see these ones? Take them. They're in packages. Take every single thing that's there, put it in packages. I don't care. I absolutely don't care. Because if you want to make more money, make more money out of your experience, take, steal, absolutely steal. And that's when I talk about this thing, okay? I went a bit too far. I talked about napkins, right? You can steal napkins. They won't notice. Steal these lollies. Get a napkin. Put the lollies in the napkins, or you can put them in the bowl and then go to your own table. Get the whole thing out. Put it in a napkin. Wrap it all up. Steal. Absolutely steal. That's the final tip I have from an Asian buffet guide, okay? Steal! Absolutely steal what you can! Of course, if you want to be this stingy, and you want to just make more money, you can bring a container, but I wouldn't recommend a container because they'll probably kick you out. But steal as much as you can. Avoid the container. You can steal the food, right? If I want to make more money, maybe why you steal these stuff instead of just getting a whole container and putting it all in, putting all the food in. Those ones, it's too suspicious, okay? People are going to be suspicious of you. But if you take these small little things, those little squirt, little saucy packets, little butter, put it get these little lollies things, and you will not look suspicious if you take these, okay? That's why I implore you to steal these stuff. Also, coffee package. Absolutely steal them if you drink coffee. It's not really good coffee, but it is coffee. These teas, peppermint tea. My favorite tea for these kind of buffets. Steal. Absolutely steal them, okay? Steal. I'm imploring you. Okay, I don't actually support stealing, but if you're in a buffet, it's all you can eat. They say steal these ones. If you're able to sneak them in your little packages, not your little packages, your little pockets right there. Oh crap! Your bag, steal. Absolutely steal. Okay? I think I covered most of the topics. Of course, don't steal the stuff like the metal spoons and stuff. Those are pretty obvious. Just steal the ones that you can steal. Okay? I showed you all the ones that you can steal and have them. Okay? Just take them home. That's how you make your money. And that's the Asian guide. I think that's all I wanted to say. What I can recommend at the end of just eating buffets is having peppermint tea. If you're full, just have a little bit of peppermint tea. It just helps your digestion a little bit of health guide for you. Maybe like an Asian health guide. That's what I got for my parents. Basically, this is an example I'm giving you. I told you all my knowledge I have. If you have any more questions or any ethics about my stealing in a buffet, leave them down in the comments and I'll try to answer them as soon as possible, okay? And that's it. All you have to remember, eat for money. Eat for money and steal to take home to make your money from this buffet experience. Thank you guys for watching and yeah, bye bye baby.